The funding for this video is provided by the amazing members of my Patreon. Also contributions from viewers like you. Thank you. Yeah, I started from PBS Kids. What you gonna do? Fight me? Anyway, roll the video. So back in the summer of 2020, I made this little video about Dan Schneider. And the video started off as a presentation for school, but I just got so fed up with the fact that nobody was talking about this one specific thing with him. That being that there is a lot of racism within his series. So I decided to take a 3-minute presentation I did for school about his shows and turned it into a 40-minute video to upload on YouTube. Now, if you're not familiar with who this man is, and that's probably not many of you, because if you're following me, you most likely are familiar with his content, because I have made videos about numerous shows that he has made and produced. But basically, Dan Schneider is a producer that's best known for creating popular teen Nickelodeon sitcoms such as iCarly, Victorious, Drake and Josh, and his most recent project that he got fucking fired from, Henry Danger. And to a certain extent, he basically ran the Nickelodeon network. Like, everybody that was head up, if they were like, if Dan Schneider is not first in command, then everything else comes second. Like, his shit was like what ran it. If it wasn't a SpongeBob, it was Dan Schneider's productions. It was the Schneider Bakery. But if you've been on social media, you've been aware of the fact that this man has a history of, how can I say this without getting demonetized, A-wording adults, kids, and just his power in general. And Nickelodeon has been trying to cover up this shit for years. And the more and more time passes, the more and more comes up about him. As you guys are familiar with, like I said, if you know about Dan Schneider, you most likely know this name, named Jennette McCurdy. She basically played the other main character on iCarly named Sam, the blonde girl. In Jennette McCurdy's memoir, I'm Glad My Mom Died, she spoke about how horrible he was briefly. That's not what the entire book is about. And that's one thing that's getting on my fucking nerves when it comes to Jennette McCurdy's book. People are only talking about Dan, and he was probably not in the book for no more than 20 pages. The rest was more about her and then other awful ass people that work in the film industry just as well. But she mentioned him briefly in passing, and it's because he was becoming more and more unbearable to work with, and it was making the productions for his shows much more stressful. I'm going to sit here and read you guys a small section of where she did speak about him. The creator has gotten in trouble from the network from accusations of his emotional A-word. I feel as it's a long time coming and should have happened a lot sooner. I appreciate the amount of trouble he's gotten in. It wasn't just a slap on the wrist sort of thing. It's to the point where he's no longer allowed to be on set with any actors, which makes communication in between takes complicated. The creator sits in a small cave-like room off to the side of the soundstage, surrounded by piles of cold cuts, his favorite snack, and Kids' Choice Award blimps, his most cherished life accomplishment. He watches our takes on 4 separate monitors, one of each camera, and are set up in a layer. Whenever he wants to give us a note, he tells it to the assistant director, who then has to run across the entire soundstage to give it to us. So our shoot days went from about 13 hours to about 17. The general on-set vibe these days can be described as malice meets, dear God, please let us get this over with. Oh my God, fuck this bitch. Oh, he is awful. Now that section that I read to you guys right there, that shit happened in 2014. And this book did not come out until this year, that being 2022 at the time I am recording this. And that just goes to show you how long Nickelodeon been covering it for his ass. It's like the more and more comes out about Dan Schneider and what happened on the production of his shows, along with his series, including so much racism, homophobia, transphobia, ableism, and fat phobia. Many of y'all have been asking me, when are you going to make another video about Dan Schneider or just Dan Schneider shows. And I'm gonna tell y'all the truth. The main reason why I have not made any content about Dan Schneider is simply because I don't want to fucking watch that man's show anymore, okay? I pretty much have seen enough of his material to the point where I don't have to watch it again. But when I do need to refresh my memory on certain things about, oh, that was off-putting, let me make a video about that, I simply just cannot bring myself to do it anymore because of how much he and his work makes me angry. He makes me so mad to the point where I don't want to watch it, and it's not even worth it for the sake of making money. Because a lot of people were like, oh, it's like a hot topic to talk about Dan Schneider now. And like, yes, but like me making Dan Schneider content, that was not like the intent. Like, yes, it was good to bring awareness to the problems that are within his series and things that he has done. But also a lot of that debunking Dan Schneider has just become a bit of a cash grab. So if there are there's two channels that I highly do recommend if you guys are interested in getting more content about Dan Schneider, because this video right here will most likely be the last one that y'all get for a long time about him. So I recommend Janiac Jr., and then I also recommend Sloan. I'm pretty sure you all know who Sloan is. Those are two channels I recommend if you guys want more content that is worth watching about Dan Schneider series. And I mean it when I say those two. But then, you know, when we get on the subject of Dan Schneider series, because his shows have a lot of our favorite childhood actors in them, like Victoria Justice, Ariana Grande, Liz Gillies, Evan Jogia, Leon Thomas III, Ariana Grande, Nathan Kress, Terry Trainer. Like, the list goes on of all the people who were a part of his works that we still follow to Instagram on this day. And people will say, oh, his shows are my childhood. They have a special place in my heart. And let me tell you, I was a hardcore iCarly stan back in my middle school days, okay? I was a hardcore SETI shipper. That episode where they're making fun of, like, the SETI and Crady shippers, no, that's actually how the fandom is. But I just simply don't give a fuck about how much that show meant to me in the past, as it did so much for me as a kid. It don't do shit for me now no more as an adult. But when I was younger, it was special to me. But like, now that I'm an adult and I've learned about not just how distasteful so much of the humor was in it, but learning what happened behind the scenes of it, I'm done with the show. And plenty of other people don't want to watch that man's shows for the same reasons why I don't want to watch them. They don't have to. Hey y'all, it's Harriyanna and I'm back with another video. Hi, hello, how are you guys doing? My name is Harriyanna and welcome to or welcome back to the pirate ship, also known as Harry Hook's pirate ship. I am the captain, you were not my first mate, and I got no first mate because you want to know why? Bring your ear closer to the speaker so you can hear me clearly. Nobody's worthy of being the first mate, but hi, hello, how are you guys doing? My name is Harriyanna and I like to make content based off nostalgia and family and children's entertainment and all the issues that I find within those spaces. Now, before we continue, I do want to do a little bit of self-promo because this is my channel and I can fucking do that. But my novella, y'all know, the one that sold out, they are currently back in stock. Basically, this book is about, like, as we are talking a bit about the film industry in this this is a video. I can say this is my episode, whatever. But basically, I talk about my experience of being an extra in the film industry, and I tell you guys the truth about it. Like, all, like, the weird ass shit that I had to deal with this industry and simply being an extra. I talk about it in this book. It's called You're Not Crucial. It says hot right here, but that is a creative decision that I have made that I'll explain right now because a lot of people don't get it. But basically, in this industry, they try to sell you the illusion that being an extra will give you your big break, and it's not, especially when you actually get in there and get behind the scenes. Like, it'll be a big break for some people, but for most people, that's not the case. So they try to sell you the illusion that, oh, you're hot, crucial, you're important. Then when you get in there, baby, you're not crucial, okay? And then also, if you guys get the physical signed copy, the books will be signed. These are some new shipments that I've recently gotten in, and I have not signed them yet. So this one's about to be signed. You get a physical signed copy of me book. Okay, signed personally by the captain. These books are already bought up and I need to get them shipped out. So make sure you get yours. They literally, as soon as I put them back on the website, they start flying again. And then the next book I want to promote is My Lady Perfidy. My Lady Perfidy basically is a book that is inspired by Gabriel and Natalie's relationship from Reckless Ladybug. I wrote the story. I had a collaboration with a photographer who was also my friend, Tashana of Creativity. And then also 2 amazing artists. Percy did the back, Kiki Nini did the front. We love all of these people that are involved with this project. And basically, it's just a tragic love story. It's very beautiful. I don't want to spoil it, but I'll show you guys some of what it looks like. That is beautiful. That is beautiful. Both of these books are also available. If you bought the physical copy of this one already, your shipment should be getting to you within 2 weeks. Hopefully, it just depends because the mail service has been slow, low-key. But I have both of my books on my website available as digital copies just as well, mainly for international supporters that are not able to, you know, pay that high-ass shipping. I completely get it, but I work very hard on that. Very much will appreciate if you guys check out my work. Thank you guys so much. Now let's continue on with the video. Now, we about to talk about this bitch that I don't like and a lot of y'all just can't fucking stand either. So when we get on the subject of separating the art from the artist, it often leads us into the discussion about this bitch right here, and that is J.K. Rowling. Is it Rowling? Is it Rowling? I don't fucking know. I don't care. I don't have no respect for her. So now there are already plenty of videos on this damn website that are about this woman. So I won't be trying my best to be saying what everyone else is saying. I don't want to feel like I'm just repeating things. So here we go. For those of you guys who don't know why J.K. Rowling is just always in the fucking news, and I'm so surprised that some of y'all don't know. I feel like a lot of y'all just purposely don't look at things. But she's amazingly transphobic. And that is not a good thing. And because of this factor about her, it has turned me and literally a whole bunch of other people away from her best known project, Harry Potter. I'm not sure if she's made other projects before outside of Harry Potter. I personally don't give a fuck because I'm not checking anything that she makes because she's amazingly transphobic and I don't want to give my attention to somebody like that. So as many hardcore fans of Harry Potter, a lot of them are members of the LGBTQ community and they don't want nothing to do with the property no more. They're having a hard time separating the art from the artist, and that's completely valid. Now, mind you, I am somebody that's never seen Harry Potter. I don't go here. I don't go there. I don't know nothing about it. But many of my friends do. And because of that, I wanted to give this series a chance, mainly because I just wanted to be in the know about what they were talking about. Because, like, I want to talk about something with my friends. Like, I get that. Like, there are times where I literally go out of my way to watch something because there's something I just want to talk about with a friend of mine. It's sweet, okay? But I actually sat down and did my fucking research on what she's actually done and said about being transphobic, because I found out about her being transphobic in passing. Mind you that this was back in 2019 when this was all brought to my attention. But then when I actually sat down and looked it up, I was like, yo, no, this not gonna work. This not gonna work. This was bad. Now, I want to read you guys a piece from this article that is about her, and then I'll continue on with my commentary. Essentially, the universe of Harry Potter has grown so overwhelmingly large that Rowling, the human, utterly pales in comparison. The name of the cover bears little weight that side by side with the relationship and the attachment fans have formed with the characters and each other, as well as the multitudinous way in which we have expanded and differentiated the story far beyond Rowling's creative control. Of course, the harm J.K. Rowling has done to the trans community is inexcusable and cannot possibly be dismissed by the now popular joke of fans that Daniel Radcliffe wrote Harry Potter. Though one may continue to enjoy the artist, they cannot completely brush off the lived consequences that the artist's words and actions have wreaked. However, holding Rowling accountable while still enjoying her work is possible with the right care taken. The most effective way to reconcile these concepts is to stop investing in the products Rowling will receive monopoly from, including merchandise, theme park tickets, movie tickets, video games, or theater tickets. If you already own books and movies, great. Keep reading them and watching them. Rowling doesn't get more money from you. But if you don't, try shopping secondhand or small businesses instead. OMG, fuck this bitch. Now, you can tell that this piece right here was, more geared towards people who grew up with Harry Potter and love it, and they have a special place in their heart for it. I understand that. I have a personal connection with a lot of fictional media out here. I get that. I completely understand. But I, on the other hand, don't have this personal connection with Harry Potter at all. So whenever I hear Harry Potter, I'm just reminded of how transphobic its creator is. And let me tell you why it's such a big, big problem. It's like she's wrong, but she doesn't want to, own up to the fact that she's wrong. The thing about J.K. Rowling is that she's not one of those, oh, this was wrong, I'll own up to the fact that I did this and I won't do that anymore. And no, she did not do that whatsoever. Mind you, I've always had this discussion in the past on social media where people are talking about how people can change. Like, when a lot of these little influencers are out for having racist comments on their old Twitter pages and shit like that, and you know how they can unlearn that racism and change in the future. I understand that shit. Like, people can change, but then also the affected party does not have to forgive you. Like I said, if J.K. Rowling, did that transphobic shit, and then next thing you know, she was like, oh, I learned from my mistake. Thank you guys for educating me on this. And I'll learn and no longer do that. That's not the case, and that's why it makes it so weird. If she were to do that, that is up to trans people and just gay people in general's responsibility, like if they wanted to forgive her or not for that. Because like I said, as a cis hetero black woman, that is like not my place to say anything because I am not trans. Like, that would have been the case if she actually did take time to sit down and learn that she was wrong about what she had said and stop doing that. But no, that is absolutely not the fucking case because she convinced that she's right about this and continues to associate with people who have the same shitty views as her. And it's also worse on that part because she knows that she has a dedicated group of fan base. Like I said, stan culture about to be a disease. She has a dedicated fan base that is convinced that, oh, if J.K. Rowling says it and she has made one of the most powerful, biggest franchises in the world, then that means she has to be right. And no, like, it's just a lot of her spreading so much false information and her stands that don't want to accept that she is doing wrong are just listening to her. And it's actually very fucking harmful because, like I said, she convinces herself that she's right, and then she also associates herself with people that have the same shitty views as her. And then also, I don't want to touch Harry Potter whatsoever because people are like, oh, Harry Potter is so good. Harry Potter this, I love it. The movies are good. The books are good. I think you should still give it a chance. Oh, you can just watch it on bootleg. And baby, no, like, I don't want to touch this shit at all. I don't want to touch it whatsoever. Like I said, I have no personal connection with it. And now that I know this, I'm just like, we're good. We're good, sweetie. Like, I saw Harry Potter when I was little, when my late mother took me and my sister to go see it in the movie theater. And me and my sister hated this shit, okay? We was just not in it. So I don't want to touch Harry Potter. I don't have to watch it because of how awful its creator is. And also, I hope y'all are fully aware that the money that she is making from, Harry Potter, the licensed Harry Potter things, they all are like, connected to her. She gets a portion of that pay cut, whether it be pennies or, dollars, whatever the fuck. Y'all buying licensed merchandise too, by the way. She's getting a cut of that. And y'all know that she is donating her money to people that want to hurt trans people, right? Like I said, I'm not going to sit here and tell people what they should and should not do. But like I said, if you are a person that grew up loving Harry Potter and this and that and the third, I highly recommend that y'all really stop buying licensed Harry Potter merch. Stop going to Harry Potter World. Stop streaming the movies. Simply because that money is going to be going to hurt trans people. If you care about trans people, stop doing things that directly give or indirectly give money towards J.K. Rowling. Like I said, I'm not going to sit here and tell people what they can and cannot do, but it's just the thought. If you have trans friends and loved ones, they are not very happy about you continuing to buy licensed Harry Potter merchandise. So, yeah, just something to think about. Just something to think about, okay? But Harry Potter is a big no for me. I don't care how good it is. I can't get behind it because the creator is wrong as hell and she refuses to change. Now, the last person that I want to talk about in this video would have to be Todd Holland. And a lot of y'all don't know who this is. You most likely are familiar with something that he's done recently. He's not really known for a lot of big stuff because I know he did direct 2 episodes of Blackish, and that doesn't surprise me because Kenya Barris is a menace to the black community, and he used to work on Malcolm in the Middle just as well. But many of you guys have no idea who this person is, and I don't blame you because I didn't know who he was either. But Todd Holland is basically the director of the new Monster High movie, Monster High, the movie, the live action one that just gets dragged all the time on the damn internet. Like I said, I'm not watching that movie. Y'all can't get me to watch the movie. I don't care. Who are you to tell a black woman that she should watch a movie where she has clearly stated that the colorist ass casting and then literal brown face that was later on in the movie should be excused? No, a lot of y'all really need to watch how you talk to a lot of black creators, by the way. And some of them said they clearly don't want to watch something because of how like they did something problematic with the black characters and the way they're represented, or they're doing colorist ass and racist casting where they're casting biracial characters to play monoracial black girls or changing up the story or whatnot. They have every right not to want to watch that shit. But moving back into the story, like I said, I was already not watching this movie because of the entire thing with Claudine and Cleo's casting. But then I found out Todd Holland directed this movie called Gryffindor's Tribe. And I was like, what the hell is that? It don't even sound, that even sounds problematic. So, while he directed the movie, he did not write this because it was written, it was a book. It was a book first, and the movie was based off of the book, which it shouldn't have been made in the first place. But basically, Gryffindor's Tribe is where this white man goes to Africa. He don't find shit. He lies and says that he finds this tribe. That's where the name Gryffindor's Tribe come from because that's his last name. And basically, he just puts his children in blackface and keeps up the lie. When I tell you one thing, like, white men are gonna have, it's the audacity. It is the audacity. But basically, the entire story is just a white man using blackness for his advantage, like so much of just history, American history specifically. But that right there, in my opinion, that story, that book shouldn't have been made in the first place, or it shouldn't have been made by a white person specifically. I understand the importance of having nuance with things, but this story just kind of doesn't work. And it's just like, you already have this problematic piece of white literature right here. For what reason did you guys think it was okay to fund this shit? Like, why did y'all turn this into a movie? Why did this get an adaptation? There could have been numerous other good books out there that could have gotten a movie, and y'all gave it to this? Like, I'm telling you, let me read you guys a piece of this review that I found from like when the movie came out. Because it was sent to me, because that's exactly how I felt with this. Tastelessness can be hilarious if it is sufficiently affectionate and substantially funnier than it is offensive. The trouble is Gryffindor's Tribe, arguably the worst movie to come out from Disney, induces more charging than laughter. It's a jaw dropper, but not a thigh slapper. Its sensibility is so appallingly out of touch that they hark back at the innocent old Osa and Martin Johnson travelologies in which Pygmies dance to the Johnsons' Victorial. The movie does raise some perplexing questions. What did director Todd Holland and writer Charles Peter have in mind in bringing Frank Parkinson's book to the screen? How did this project get greenlit? What induced an actor of a caliber of Richard Dreyfuss to star? Why did Jenna Elfman, the red-hot young star of TV's Drama and Greg, have to make this her first featured role in a movie? Like, why did Disney fund this? But then again, Disney has a long history of anti-blackness, so are we really shocked? No. Like, this was supposed to be a social commentary or something like that. And it wasn't simply because, like, it was using racism for the sake of comedy. And I'm just so tired of y'all using racism for jokes. It's not funny. Son, this is not your place to make this kind of movie. Like, if this was supposed to be satire or whatever, this is not your place for that. You are white. You are a white man. Save shit like this to the Wayans Bros. And they even know when they're doing too much sometimes. Like, okay, they would have known better not even to adapt this shit. Like, it's just certain things where I'm just like, y'all really thought y'all was eating with this? I really thought that plate is untouched, very much untouched. And I just have one more little pet peeve about this movie. Why was Natasha Lyons in it? Like, I love Natasha Lyons down, okay? We love her over here on The Pirate Ship, but some of her filmography from when she was younger is very much questionable, and I don't like judge her for that, because like I said, a lot of actors just kind of just take what they can get back then, and she was pretty much a teenager when she had that role, but it was just like, oh Jesus, this is kind of bad. And then also back then, like in the 90s, people weren't as well educated on the subject of, race and whatnot like they are now. Like, honestly, if you're not educated on these things, you're obviously just kind of going out of your way not to learn them, because this shit is everywhere. We have the library. We have the fucking internet. Learn, please. Like I said, I already wasn't going to watch this movie because of its colorist ass casting and darkening the actor's skin tone. It just turned me off all the way. But then I started to, I was getting really mad because I kept seeing people talk about give the Monster High movie a chance. I don't have to give this shit a chance, okay? People were like, just watch the movie on bootleg. Or people are just saying, oh, it's not that bad. And baby, no. Like, baby, no. I don't want to watch anything this man has made at all. Like, I am a black person. I am deeply offended by the fact that he was directing Gryffindor's Tribe, and that has just turned me off from his work completely, because he was a whole 35 when he directed a fucking minstrel show, a modern day minstrel show. He was 35, y'all. It's not like he made this shit when he was 15. So okay, moving on. And I'm sorry, but like, I don't want to give someone like that my attention, because I was already turned off from the movie because of its casting problems with both Claudine and Cleo's characters. And then I also found out that they ended up changing their sexuality too, just as well. So I was just like, I can't believe it got worse. Like, I don't want to watch this movie. I don't, because there's so many issues with race right there. And then I found out there were problems with sexuality too, which I don't understand, because I found out the director was a gay man. And I understand, like, there's a lot of boundaries when it comes to Hollywood and whatnot about, like, it's hard for them to get gay stories out here, especially within children's media. I get that, but it's just kind of like, I felt like they should have just left Claudine's, like, you know, sexuality just very ambiguous and not have her with anyone. Like, that would have been much better than, like, you know, oh god, look, anyway, let me just get back on topic. I already made up my mind that I didn't want to watch this movie when I found out about the problems with the casting. But then also I found out about this movie that this director made when he was well into adulthood at the age of 35. The movie that is amazingly racist, and I just don't want to touch this film at all. So the next thing I know, I decided to ask you guys if there was anything that just like turn you off from it completely and nobody will try to convince you to watch it or give it a chance. And I'm gonna read you guys some of what y'all said. Thank you everybody that left a comment. Never have I ever, for having a main character tell a Jewish character that she wishes that he was K-worded about N-words, for correcting her about Roma and being a target in the 40s. Also, the creator is hugely problematic and likes J.K. Rowling, LMFAO. I tried watching it and found that scene and I refused to engage with it at all. Anything that has to do with glorifying serial K-worders or has misogynistic undertones, like the Jeffrey Dahmer series and that movie Blonde. As a trans girl, I refuse to watch Harry Potter movies or finish reading the books because I don't want to support J.K. Rowling. I refuse to watch anything 50 Cent produces or stars in. I just can't get with how he bullies people, including his own cast, unwarranted. I also can't stand how he seamlessly takes pride in being a deadbeat father and broadcasts it to the world to see. I also refuse to watch Woody Allen films. For me, I don't like watching Naruto because of how poorly written everyone else is that isn't Naruto or Sasuke. My first thought is how horrific any indigenous representation I saw growing up. I love movies like Peter Pan and Pocahontas as a kid, but specifically because it was the only time I ever saw Native people represented in anything. But like, the way that impacted my self-image as a kid, that was really, really sad. Like, I didn't get growing up around other Native people who actually been raised like in the culture, so it was just 6-year-old me in the little protective bubble that really wasn't doing much protection at all. But for a more specific example, I have had things I just can't stand, like period, where I've gotten a B Adam Sandler movie. I have given the first Hotel Transylvania pass because I never realized it was him until like last year. But Adam Sandler is just so ridiculously unfunny to me. The stuff he puts in his movies is unbelievably. The racism, the ableism, and the main sheer smugness is just infuriating. Also, I'm remembering the movie I've encountered before correctly. They're so male gazy, and it's everything combined with him is just unwatchable. And yeah, I just can't respect him. That's literally, oh my god. Sidebar. That is the reason why I've always hated his movies. Like, I remember I only watched Grown Ups because like Cameron Boyce and like China McClain was in it, and I just stuck it through them. I hated it. So from what all of you guys have said in the responses, you guys refuse to watch certain things because either something offensive is in them or the person who made it is problematic. And I will say this. Both are very much valid reasons, okay? Like, all of y'all have very much valid reasons about these things. If you don't want to watch something because of something involved with it that upsets you, you don't have to, okay? And also, stop telling people to give something a chance when they made it pretty clear that they want nothing to do with it for something like that is a personal reason for them. Because I know a lot of people say, once I had brought to the people's attention how awful Miraculous Ladybug treats its black characters, they said that they didn't want to watch it. And then also a lot of people, when it was brought to their attention how awful Descendants treats the black girls and women in the franchise, they didn't want to watch that shit either. And it's completely valid. I get it because it makes me mad as a fan. Okay? But also, y'all don't owe nobody an explanation for why you don't want to watch something. Like, I'm just telling the truth. Y'all don't, alright? You have your own mind, and you can pick and choose what kind of media you want to engage with, okay? And if one thing about it bothers you to the point where it turns you away from it completely, then so be it. Like, I refuse. Like, I'm just so tired. And I can't stand when people be like, oh, you missing out on something because there's just something a little problematic on it. And listen, from all my points that I have made, and then also what my audience had said, our reasoning for not wanting to touch certain things that have to do with bigotry that's a good reason for wanting to stay away from something, okay? All right. Thank you guys so much for watching today's video. It was a struggle to get this one done, y'all. I was so damn tired. And I was just like, y'all know, I've been having problems with like anxiety and whatnot. But I really did enjoy how this came out. I really am liking this more laid back approach with this. A lot of you guys like this kind of style. So we'll see how it goes. Hopefully I can start feeling better again and get back to my other regular scheduled filming and programming. Like I said, on my website, available as a digital physical copy and a digital copy. My books on my website. Use code HOTSPOT30 for 30% off your order. Very much appreciated. I have a web series called The Progenies. It's a Descendants fan series. The link to that will be down below. If you guys are interested in watching and supporting the series as well, if you guys want to support my work, highly recommend joining Patreon, or also just buy me a coffee or a Ko-fi. I appreciate both deeply. Any little bit helps. Watching this video with the ad blocker off is helpful, okay? Now, also, you want to know another way that is helpful? Follow me on my other social media platforms for free. It don't cost nothing. At Harriyanna everywhere. Like, I'm not even joking. No, there's some things that I don't have, but like HARRIYANNA. That's how you spell it. Thank you guys so much for watching. Like, hold on. Let me find my little business cards that I be having. I have like business cards that I have for my like brand and shit. Like, that is how you spell it. That's how you spell it. Harriyannahook. Harriyannahook. But thank you guys so much for watching today's video. And you guys have a good night. 'Cause I work hard to get to this point in my life. I'm blowing up, so don't hate, just congratulate. The Powerpuff Girls will just blow your mind. Buttercup like villains 3 at a time. Bubbles will smile while kicking your butt, and Blossom will lead them out of their rut. Cherish and Powerpuff, 2 of a kind.